Welcome back. It is so good to have you here with me today. Pull up a chair, find a comfortable spot, and let's just take a breath together. Now, imagine for a moment a young boy. He is thin, his clothes are old. He lives in a small, quiet town in America. He has very little money. But inside his chest, there is something big, something strong, a feeling that says, one day things will be different. One day the world will know my name. That boy's name was John D. Rockefeller. And his story is not just a story about money. It is a story about a journey, a long, slow, quiet journey from nothing to everything. So stay with me. Keep listening, because this is a story you will not forget. The year was 1839. The place was a small town in the state of New York in the United States of America. Life there was simple. Most families worked hard every day just to have enough food. Most children did not go to school for very long. They had to work. They had to help their families. John D. Rockefeller was born into one of these families. His mother was a quiet, serious woman. She believed in hard work. She believed in saving money. She taught John to be careful with every cent. His father was very different. His father traveled a lot. He sold things to people. He was loud and charming, but he was not always there. And when he was not there, life was not easy. John grew up watching his mother count every coin. He grew up knowing that money was important, that money was not something to waste, that money, if you used it carefully, could change your life. And even as a very young boy, John believed something that most people around him did not. He believed that one day he would be rich. Not a little rich, very, very rich. But here is the question that many people asked, even people who knew him well. How does a poor boy from a small town become the richest person in the world? The answer is not simple, but it begins with one thing: a first job. John was 16 years old when he got his first real job. He worked as an assistant in a small company in the city of Cleveland, Ohio. The work was not exciting. He sat at a desk. He wrote numbers. He checked accounts. He made sure everything was correct. It was quiet work, careful work, and John loved it. He loved numbers. He loved knowing exactly how much money came in and how much went out. From his very first paycheck, John did something that surprised the people around him. He did not spend his money on things he wanted. He wrote everything down in a small book. Every cent he received, every cent he spent. He kept this book for his whole life. He called it Ledger A. And for John, this little book was not just a record. It was a lesson. A lesson he learned again and again. Spend less than you earn. Save more than you think you need. And always, always know where your money is going. He worked hard at that job, and slowly, people noticed. They saw that this young man was serious, that he was careful, that he could be trusted. After a few years, John saved enough money to do something new, something bigger. He wanted to start his own business. And he did. He started a small trading company with a partner. It was a modest beginning, but it was a beginning. And John D. Rockefeller never wasted a beginning. In 1859, Something happened in America that changed the country forever. Oil was discovered in the ground in the state of Pennsylvania. At first, many people did not understand what this meant, but some people did. John D. Rockefeller was one of them. He traveled to Pennsylvania. He watched, he listened, he learned. He saw men pulling oil from the ground. He saw that this oil could be cleaned and used as fuel. People could use it to light their homes. Factories could use it to run machines. And John understood something very important. The world was going to need a lot of oil. A great, great amount. The question was not whether oil was valuable. The question was, who would control it? In 1863, John started his first oil business in Cleveland. He started small, but he did not think small. He watched every part of the process. How the oil was taken from the ground, how it was transported, how it was cleaned and prepared. And he saw that most oil companies were messy. They were disorganized. They wasted money and time. John decided he would be different. He would build a company that did everything better, faster, cheaper, more carefully. And in 1870, he created a company that the world would never forget. He called it Standard Oil. A simple name, a powerful name. A name that would soon be known everywhere. Standard Oil grew quickly, very quickly. And John's method was direct. When he saw a smaller oil company, he went to its owner and made an offer. "Join me," he said. "Sell your company to Standard Oil. If you join me, you will share in the success. But if you do not join me, you will not survive." It was not always a kind offer, but it was a clear one, and most owners accepted. Some were happy to join. Others felt they had no real choice, because Standard Oil was powerful. It had deals with the railroads. It could transport oil across America for much less money than other companies. It could sell oil at a lower price. And when you sell at a lower price, people buy from you, not from anyone else. Year after year, Standard Oil grew larger. By the 1880s, John D. Rockefeller controlled nearly 90% of all the oil refined in the United States. Think about that number. 90%. Almost all of it. One man, one company, one enormous, quiet, careful plan. He did not shout about his power. He did not need to. The numbers spoke for themselves. And the money was almost impossible to imagine. But not everyone saw this as a great story. Many people were angry. Many small business owners felt crushed. They felt that John's power was too great, that it was not fair. And slowly, the government began to listen. In 1911, the Supreme Court of the United States made a decision. Standard Oil was too powerful. It had too much control. It was not good for the country. The court ordered Standard Oil to be broken into smaller companies. John D. Rockefeller lost direct control of his great creation. Many people celebrated. They felt that justice had been done. But something interesting happened after that. When Standard Oil was broken apart, each small piece became its own company, and the value of those companies grew. John owned pieces of all of them, and so Even after the breakup, his wealth continued to grow. He became the first person in American history with a fortune of $1 billion. In today's money, that would be hundreds of billions, more than most people can imagine. But the story of John D. Rockefeller does not end with money. In the second half of his life, he gave enormous amounts away. He built universities. He created medical research centers. He helped people all across the world. He lived until the age of 97, and until the end, he believed in what his mother had taught him as a boy. Work hard, save carefully, give generously. The journey of John D. Rockefeller is long. It is complicated. It is not a perfect story, but it is a real one. And real stories, with all their darkness and light, are always the best ones to learn from. So here we are, at the end of a long journey. And I want to speak to you directly now, not just as a storyteller, but as someone who is glad you are here, listening, learning, growing. You just listened to a story told in English. Maybe some words were easy for you. Maybe some were hard. But you kept going. You stayed with the story. And that is exactly what learning a language feels like. It feels like a long journey, sometimes slow, sometimes difficult, but always, always moving forward. John Rockefeller did not build his empire in one day. He built it one careful step at a time. And your English is the same. You build it one story at a time, one word at a time, one listening session at a time. So keep coming back. Keep listening. Every time you press play on a Storyline English video, you are taking one more step forward. And those steps add up. Trust the process. Trust the journey. If you enjoyed this story today, please leave a comment below. Tell me one thing you learned, or one thing that surprised you about John D. Rockefeller. I read every comment, and I am always here, waiting to tell you the next story. Until then, take care of yourself, and I will see you soon. And my friends, if you want to go deeper into the story of John D. Rockefeller, there is a full biography waiting for you. It tells everything: his childhood, his rise, his secrets, and his legacy. Written in clear, simple English. I have left the link in the description below. Just scroll down and find it on Amazon. It is a book worth reading. I think you will love it.